Welcome everyone. I'm James from the Binance Australia team. Just wanted to quickly say that the team at Binance Australia is very thankful for every user who's supported us along our journey. We're quickly approaching our 1-year birthday, and it's been a huge journey so far. We will continue to do our best as leaders in the crypto space and continue to develop the culture of crypto in Australia. So tonight I am super excited for the discussion with our NFT creators here in Australia. Tonight we'll be asking our Aussie creators a range of questions. So guys, feel free to go off on a tangent whenever you feel necessary. I'll give a quick, brief rundown of like what NFTs are. So the creation of Bitcoin introduced the concept of trustless digital scarcity. Before it, the cost of digitally copying something was next to nothing. With the development of blockchain technology, programmable digital scarcity has become possible. NFTs, so non-fungible tokens, often referred to as crypto collectibles. They expand this idea. So unlike cryptocurrencies, where each token is equal, non-fungible tokens are unique and limited in quantity. NFTs are a key building block in a new blockchain-powered digital economy. Numerous projects have experimented with NFTs in a variety of use cases, including gaming, digital identity, licensing, certificates, and fine art. What's more, NFTs even allow for fractional ownership of high-value items. So, moving forward, it's a pleasure to welcome our guests for tonight, artist and musician Lil Bubble, artist and designer Bianca Beers, artist and sneaker designer Mathew Fabris, also known as Sekure, and photographer Demas Rusli. So welcome, guys.
Thank you.
No worries, welcome. Cheers. So just a quick note, unfortunately, James Newbury couldn't make it tonight as he's had to head to the States to compete on short notice. Wow. So we're wishing him good luck from across the pond. As always, we'll have a Q&A session to answer some questions that you guys have submitted. And a reminder for everyone to stay until the end of the class for the Binance Swag Pack giveaway. We'll be giving away 5 times exclusive Binance Swag Packs, so do stick around for that. And also, I'll just speak on behalf of everyone here, myself and Binance, that we please keep in mind that myself and all these guys are here to offer any financial advice. So trading always has its risks. NFTs have their risks. So please do your own research on top of all the information shared today. So now we can get started and we're going to move straight into question time, guys. So I think we start off with a simple one. If Lil Bubble, you want to go first, could you just introduce yourself?
All right, yeah. I go by the artist name Lil Bubble. I'm basically a parody musician who makes stupid songs about cryptocurrency and trading crypto. I've been in the crypto space for probably about 5 years, just as a speculator and a trader. And so, yeah, crypto is basically my life day and night now, as it is for most people who fall down that rabbit hole. Whether that's for better or for worse, that's yet to be determined. But I started making crypto memes, and I guess it just sort of slowly turned into parody songs. I've got a bit of a music production background, so that sort of happened fairly easily. And I needed a character to release the songs under. So yeah, here's Lil Bubble, and things kind of went way beyond anything I had planned. I didn't really have a plan when I started out, but here we are. Still really don't know what I'm doing, but it's pretty fun, so we'll keep it going.
Awesome. All right, Sekure, did you want to go?
Yeah, sick. So my name's Matt. I go by the artist name Sekure. I've been an artist, sneaker designer, toy designer, as you can probably tell by everything behind me, for the best part of 15 years now. So started customizing shoes when I lived with my mum and dad's place because I wanted shoes that no one else had. Sneaker collecting got out of control. Everyone has the same stuff, but wants to pay a crazy amount of money for it. So I sort of started customizing things to, create one-offs. And, I was studying finance at university, so definitely wasn't a career strategy or plan. It was just something I was doing for myself. And then you fast forward 15 years later and it's, primarily my job and has been for the best part of, 15 years. So I spend my day designing, drawing, painting shoes, toys, canvases, digital art, like everything you can kind of imagine. I'm 100% self-taught. Started off in graffiti and then ended up here today in a room full of toys. So it's not too bad at all, but that's kind of me in a nutshell.
No, very cool, very cool. Bianca, would you like to go?
Yeah, sure. I am a freelance artist and designer. I've been full-time doing this for about 3 years now. And prior to that, I was part-time while doing my little retail gig. I do digital art, but I also do stuff like murals and paint sneakers, much like Matt. Yeah, I've stumbled across cryptocurrency and NFTs in the last 6 months. So I'm quite new, I'm a baby, but I'm really enjoying the space and I find it a really cool community. Everyone's involved in interacting and helping each other promote each other's work and stuff, which I find really, really refreshing in terms of social platforms. So yeah, I'm really enjoying this space and I'm keen for what the future brings.
Excellent. All right, and that will leave us with Demas.
Hey everyone, my name's Demas Rusli. I'm a photographer and designer based in Sydney, Australia. I've been taking photos for almost 10 years now. I just started on my phone and on Instagram. When I was doing university, I was doing architecture. So I did 5 years of uni in architecture and I worked in the architecture industry for 5 years as well. And in the last year, I quit architecture and became a freelancer. My photography is sort of, I try to push it, try to do something different with it because I did architecture and we use a lot of Photoshop. So I like to kind of challenge that and kind of flip things upside down and create new places that like don't really exist, but make people think it exists. Just like Bianca, I also just got into the crypto space recently as well. Just launched a few NFTs and learning as I go. Yeah.
Excellent. Cool. Thanks, guys. So, straight away, I guess an awesome thing that you could sort of just like say there is that everyone's got their diverse background, but crypto, NFTs brings everyone together. It is something that is really prevalent in the crypto community, is put something out there and it brings all different kinds of backgrounds together. So great. All right, so let's go backwards now. We'll start with Demas again.
Yeah.
How did you, I know you just slowly, like briefly just touched on it, but how did you get into the cryptocurrency space?
I think I stumbled upon NFTs at the beginning of this year. And then I was like, looking at it, I was like, what is going on? Like there's so much, I think Beeple Crap was the guy that kind of pioneered it all. I met him actually at a conference in Adobe Max in LA a few years ago. I don't think he remembers me, but I just said hello to him. But like I've been following his work for a long time, and when I saw he sold all that stuff, I was like, this is a good space and very like, yeah, it's like pioneering, and it's just like, how do I get into it? So I started looking into it. I minted a few, researching exactly. And yeah, bought some cryptocurrency and minted a couple of pieces of work. That's how I got into it.
Cool, very cool. All right, Bianca, how did you get into the cryptocurrency space?
I had people left, right, and center telling me, you've got to get into crypto, you've got to get into NFTs, you've got to get into NFTs. And I was kind of hesitant, I guess, because I was new to the space. I didn't know anything about it. But I'm a Sagittarius and we just are quite, just really spur of the moment, make a decision and then roll with it. So I think one day I was just like, no, I'm going to do it. So without even researching, I just like popped up, same as Demas, I guess, minted an artwork that I had from probably like a year ago, one that I really liked and I'd never done anything with. And it sold within a week, which was so dope. So yeah, like I'm new to it and I'm learning as I go, but I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the space. I'm enjoying the platform. And yeah, really, really, really new to it, but loving it so far.
No worries. There's no harm in being new. Everyone's welcome on board. You got to join the train sometime, right?
That's it.
All right. So Mathew, Mr. Sekure, would you like to go?
Yeah, I think so I bought some, like, I guess maybe half the people listening, I bought some Ethereum and Bitcoin back in like 2017, 2018. And then when everything fell apart, I was like, screw this, I'm walking away. And then came back again towards the back end of last year. So I've been focused more on this sort of side of the world again for like maybe 9 to 10 months now. So really dedicated and focused in this space primarily from about November onwards. And then from an NFT lens, I actually haven't launched anything yet. So this will be my debut capsule or collection. I kind of did thanks B. I did the reverse. I kind of went and built a whole website and a whole story and narrative and like theme. And I actually kind of had it done for a while, and I've just kind of been looking for the right opportunity to launch it. And I've had some mates have some really big moments on other platforms, and like really big moments, and they've been drilling me to get in, and don't wait too long, but for me it's about the right time, the right opportunity, the right partner, and this all sort of came together at a fantastic time for me to be able to launch it. So this will be my debut collection, the first series of the Robo Ghost, and then we sort of go from there. I'm a planner, so I have multiple things lined up and ready to go. So just excited to kick off, and hopefully BTC dominance doesn't kick in too much over the next couple of months, and we can have a bit more fun.
Timing is everything, as you just
kind
of briefly said there. All right, Lil Bubble, a bit of your background and how you got into crypto.
Crypto, same boat. Early 2017 was when I made my first purchase. It was Ethereum as well. I'd sort of watched Bitcoin like a lot of people from the sidelines for years and years. And just one of those things, like every time you hear about it, it's worth double. So finally, and I guess like the classic noob thing is like, well, what's this Ethereum thing? Like, is it the next Bitcoin? It's cheaper than Bitcoin. So like, I'm going to buy that and then dive into learn a bit about smart contracts and that type of thing. And then the classic noob thing again is like, oh, wow, this is better than Bitcoin. It's going to be bigger. And I just snowballed from there, like most people. Like, you get into trading and you learn about other altcoins. You learn a bit of TA and chart reading. You join about 1,000 different exchanges. Same thing. Rode the wave up in 2017. Held through the crash in 2018. Got wrecked like everybody else. And not only did I stick around and keep buying more, but I thought it would be a great idea to create a crypto artist and build out a YouTube channel full of songs. So I guess that's cranking up the max leverage on that bet. Max faith in the market recovering and hitting all-time highs again. So that panned out pretty cool. But that's about me in a nutshell as far as crypto goes. Still there today.
Cool. All right, very interesting. Thank you, guys. Appreciate that. So let's sort of move into a little bit more personal when it comes to your art. So how often do you art? Like, how often do you do art of some kind? Is this a full-time thing? I know, Bianca, you were saying something about you had retail back in the day. For me, it was hospo, and now I'm full-time Binance, so, and I look at that as something that's not a usual job. So, are you in this world full-time?
You're asking me first?
Yeah, go first. Yeah, why not?
Yeah. Okay, so I'm full-time. I art every day, probably 6 days a week, and then I have 1 day of rest, like the good Lord. Kidding, totally kidding. But so I'm pretty, because I work from home, I have an at-home studio. For me, it's like wake up, work until you sleep, and then you wake up and work again. So I'm right now just trying to figure out my work-life balance because I work a lot. But art all the time for me.
Great. That's cool. Yeah, you do art. It sounds like you do art. Sekure.
Every day.
You can see you're immersed behind you. So
my whole house looks like this. Every day. I had this mentality when I was painting, because it's very easy to get into a lazy lifestyle as an artist, if I'm honest. And I fell into that trap like a lot of artists do. But there's really, to be a successful artist, you really have to have a pretty significant work ethic. There is a million people in the world creating a million different things, and what's going to make you be different, and if you got the hours to put in to really stand out and not just create a tumultuous amount of garbage, but quality work on a consistent basis. And consistency is everything in my eyes from an artistic point of view. So you have to continue to remain relevant and consistent. Otherwise you can be forgotten about, especially now in the social media age, where the algorithm, if you stop posting highly engaged content, you can disappear in all your fans' feeds. So yeah, every day, like, whether it's, Twitch, Insta, Twitter, all the things that you have to try and manage as an artist too. That's the thing people don't realize. It's not just painting, it's the managing 10 social media accounts and then all the emails and the contracts and the NDAs, and you become a jack of all trades. So, I'd say, yeah, I create art every day, but like art management every day, like 7 days a week for me is, if I'm awake, I'm probably making something.
Yeah.
No, great rundown. Yeah, that's really insightful. Thanks. Demas, did you want to chip in there?
Yeah, I pretty much edit photos every day too. Because of COVID, I haven't been able to travel as much because, well, the last year and a half I haven't traveled. And that was sort of my main way to create before COVID. So in 2019, I traveled a lot, and luckily it kind of gave me enough content for 2020 and like all the way through 2021. So like I'm just kind of revamping and re-looking at my old photos and seeing how I can like make it new again and that kind of stuff. So it's kind of refreshing in that way. I was able to travel last week to Cairns, which for the first time, which is really beautiful. And so I got some new content, which is really good. And yeah, well, when I was in architecture, I would be working at a 9 to 5 job, and then I would come home, have dinner, chill out a bit with my wife, and then I would edit from like maybe 11 p.m. to like 2 a.m. every day. But now I'm a freelancer, so like, I don't know, I feel like I have more time now because there's like, but I mean, you gotta keep going, keep pushing your art and take it to the next level. Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Lil Bubble, did you as well want to chip in on that one?
Yeah, I'm the same thing every
music
day.
Every day, writing every day.
Every day and night. One thing I didn't even mention this, but like I'm actually a graphic artist. That's my bread and butter. I work in corporate graphic design. Do a lot of freelancing as well. And yeah, I grew up as a visual artist, just drawing, and obviously progressed into digital art as I was a teenager and exposed to computers and that type of thing. But yeah, like for me, digital art came before the music. Music was always just like a side gig that I did for fun. So it's another reason why this NFT thing is so cool, that it sort of marries my two passions together, and I can use the actual skills that I've sort of lived off in the corporate world in like a job sense for the last 10, 12 years to sort of push my own projects out there. And yeah, it's just like another avenue to create with, really, which is like most of these guys here would probably be the same, but like it's almost like an obsession. Like you create too much, you try to take on too many projects, and yeah, like just day and night create stuff. So another thing to add to the pile is just good by me.
Yeah, you hate turning down good work, right? Just try and make it work.
Yes, exactly.
Too many ideas, not enough time.
Yeah. Who needs sleep? Fine.
Don't tell my boss, but I'm quite jealous of your guys' career choice. Anyway. So here's one that I'm really interested in. What is each of your creative processes? When it comes to designing a toy, for example, or taking photos and going to a location, beats, the graphic design stuff. Just jump in if anyone would like to answer that one. I'm sure we've all got a different one.
I'll go first. It's fine. Like I think from my side, like it's hard to describe in a really succinct way, but I'm sure everyone probably has a similar experiences where I can have a month's worth of good ideas in 10 minutes and then also have a week where I stare at the computer and achieve nothing and get nothing but frustrated and upset about it. So I just try and stay in a positive mindset. That's actually the most important thing for me. Like if I'm in a bad mindset, I can't be creative. And I try and include as many of my interests as well. So like, Bubble, like for me, starting customizing shoes was because I love shoes and I was doing graffiti. Didn't want to get in trouble. I started doing graffiti at home, started painting shoes. All of a sudden, 6 months later, I'm making them for rappers in America. Like it was a total accident. So I think from a creative side, I just, put on movies, like my happy movies, listen to good music, try and stay in a positive mindset and just focus. But it's those days where you have those like blackout days where I've got a deadline 2 days away. I've spent 8 hours in front of the computer. I haven't done one mock-up I like. They're the days that like, what did you do today, Matt? Nothing I want to talk about. Like, that's the worst. So I'm sure everyone has a similar thing, but yeah, for me, it's just about trying to stay as positive and consistent as possible. Like get up, get out of bed, get working, get dressed. It sounds silly, but so many artists like don't have a proper start to the day. I get out of the house, go get a coffee, have a start to the day. It's so key. If you can just roll around, next thing you know, it's lunchtime and you've done nothing. It's actually really easy to do when you're freelance or work from home. So yeah, that's kind of it for me.
No,
I
great. Yeah.
love to speak. Oh, sorry. I'd love to speak next because I'm much similar. I feel like with creative energy and just creative ideas and the creative lifestyle, just in general, it's an ebb and flow. Like sometimes you'll have so many ideas and you'll be so full of energy and so full of creative juices, and like you'll be pumping it out, but then you kind of have a burnout phase, or like a phase where you're not getting as much work. But I think I used to get really frustrated by that, but I think part of being a creative is just accepting that that's part of the reality, and you kind of need those downtimes to help fuel you for when it's going to be hectic again. So yeah, much like Matt, I do things to stay positive and full of energy. I eat well, I meditate, I go for nature walks, and for me, nature walks is like totally different to what I do digitally, like on a screen, but that actually gives me inspiration, and I get new ideas when I'm not thinking about work.
Right.
So for me, my inspiration comes then, and I might write notes down on my phone or take a photo, which will remind me later when I look at it, when I'm like in the zone at my studio. But yeah, like as for actually working, I'm the same, like pop on some good tunes, open the blinds, have a coffee in my hand, and it's go time now.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
I agree. Doing something else actually helps. Like, I play a lot of sport outside of taking photos. I play a lot of tennis and basketball, and I also watch a lot of basketball. So I kind of have a bit of basketball on the side while I edit photos.
Oh, don't.
What happened to Philly today, mate?
Yeah, well, I'm a Phoenix fan, so
Hey,
it's pretty good for Phoenix.
Get
right
Chris
now.
Paul out of the COVID protocol and you'll be okay.
For me, creating is all about like, how do I push something? How do I make something different? Especially in the photography space, like kind of everyone feels like everyone's a photographer these days. Like everyone's got a phone, everyone can take photos. Like, so how do I, as a photographer, as a creative, do something different? So if I see something online and I know I'm going to that location or something, I always think about like, how do I, this is a great photo. How do I make it better? How do I keep pushing and pushing and pushing? So yeah, that's sort of how I think about creating.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah,
Thank you
very much. Very much similar. Like, I guess there's so many different projects that I work on that each one has their own creative process, but the Lil Bubble project has been really cool for, I guess, killing my perfectionism, which I think cripples like a lot of creatives. Whereas like Lil Bubble come along and it's like this purposely crappy thing. Like I just make memes. Like if you haven't noticed, like most of the songs, especially the first songs, like I purposely use like the first take of vocal. Like I didn't try to sing it nicely. I use like a crappy little handheld camera. Me and my mates were just like my mates had never even held a camera. I'm like, hey, can you film me do this? He's like, what are you doing? Like, I'm just gonna chuck a spacesuit on and do some stuff. And then yeah, like really like crudely edit the videos together and get them up. It's sort of like good to get over that hump of like, I guess like after years and years of working, especially as like a professional creative, you do become a lot more picky, and that perfectionism creeps in, and it can really slow down and hinder, and it can cause a lot of like the creative block and that type of thing. But yeah, like the Lil Bubble's just pure fun. So I guess the process there is just very loose, very quick, and heaps of fun.
It's funny you say that. Like some of the best advice I ever got was to walk away from something. Like, like so many paintings, I'm like, is it ever actually done? I could edit a painting or add more to a painting forever. I think, yeah, I resonate with that a lot. I think some of the best advice I've ever got is to like move on, because I could sit there and work on the same thing for a year and you're still going to charge the same price for it, right? So yeah, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
I've got a bit of like a psychological trip that the creative process is a bit of a meme. So number 1, this is awesome. Number 2, this is tricky. Number 3, this is crap. Number 4, I am crap. Number 5, this might be okay. Number 6, this is awesome. So I don't know if you guys can relate to that, but whenever I'm doing anything that's sort of creative, that's
It's
basically
a
my flow.
journey.
Yeah.
You got to trust
hard
yourself when you
process.
get halfway through, right? If you've got it to halfway through, get to the end, because like especially with painting and same with like digital art, like halfway through it can look like garbage. You got to trust your final vision, because if you throw it away halfway through, you're never going to see it out. And if it gets to the end and it's brilliant, awesome. If it's not, you've learned and you can do something different next time. I never throw something away halfway through. I always try and finish it.
Yeah.
That's not a question. I just came like to my mind. How, I don't know, only one of you can touch on this if you want to, but how did you like break through that barrier of, I don't know if it applies to everyone here, but there's that almost anxiety when it comes to, showing your stuff off, and how did you get through that barrier to like say, hey, this is me presenting myself, take it as you will, if anyone wants to touch on that. If not, can skip.
I would love to, because this is something I actually talk about a lot. I actually have performance anxiety, and like just in general with everything. Like I wouldn't let people, I used to play the drums. As soon as my family came home, I wouldn't play the drums because I didn't want them to hear me playing. Same with piano, same with my art. I used to draw and nobody would see my art. No one. I kept my books in the bottom of my wardrobe and nobody would ever see it. So stepping away from like retail and deciding that I was going to do this as a career was so scary. But I think there's a few things. Like, first of all, if you're scared, that's a good sign, because it means that you're growing and it means you're evolving. And secondly, like, you need to just look at your life and be like, okay, am I happy right now with the way things are? Yes, no. If it's no, then okay, what do I need to do to change this? And if it is that you're not pursuing your passion because you have a fear of failure, it's kind of like, okay, when I'm 90 years old, I'm going to regret not having taken this step. So I may as well just do it. If I fail, then I fail. Okay. But if I don't do it, then I'll never know. And I just really had to be strict with myself, and it paid off, obviously. But I think with most people, if you stick something out, it'll actually turn out. You just need to actually believe in yourself. And once you believe in yourself, other people do believe in yourself too. So,
I think also like surrounding yourself with like people who like are in the same field, not really in the same field, but like if I was traveling and I went with like people who weren't photographers, they would get so annoyed. They'd be like, what are you doing taking like, 50 million photos of this one place? But if I went with friends who are all photographers, then we all can support each other. And we're like, yeah, let's spend X amount of time here, then we go to the next spot, then we go to the next spot. And it's like, it becomes really fun. And I think just like if you surround yourself with the right people, I think it helps a lot.
That's key too.
Yeah, I think I've recently participated in a very lengthy psychological analysis, which was an interesting experience. And one of my takeaways was that if you never leave your comfort zone and become uncomfortable, then your comfort zone shrinks, because your comfort zone becomes like untimely or, outdated. So the only way to actually grow your comfort zone is to become uncomfortable. I think you can apply that to so many parts of your life. So whether that is, transitioning from customizing shoes to designing toys to having my first solo show, like unless you actually continue to progress. And, if I got a job doing a toy design for a company and I had only ever painted and I had to submit an Illustrator file of my art in 48 hours, like I didn't sleep, I got the Illustrator file done and I taught myself how to use Illustrator in 2 days. Now, if I didn't know how to use Illustrator, I wouldn't be able to create my like NFT series. So, if you don't continue to push yourself and try new things, then what you're good at will become outdated, irrelevant, and shrink. So you have to continue to evolve and move forward. Otherwise, you're going to get stuck.
Yeah.
No, thanks. Did you want to chime in on there, Lil Bubble, or we can skip to the next one?
I just put a space helmet on my head, and it doesn't matter what people think of my art.
I wore a mask for 7 years. I feel you.
Who cares? No. On a serious note, like, yeah, I guess if you let the fear of regret outweigh the fear of failure, you sort of get over that, because I think, like Bianca said, like you don't want to like look back and be like, oh, what if I did that, or like, what would have been. And you just got to look at pretty much every successful person ever in any industry, and like most of them have failed more than everybody else. That's like literally the secret to their success.
Mm.
So like you
Not
can't really
letting
take
it
things.
push you down.
Yeah,
100%,
like look,
taking it as
zoom out a
learning
bit and
curve.
like look at things on more of a macro level, and don't take things as like a project, like on a project by project basis. Like some might flop, like it's just par for the course. It's perfectly natural. Just if you're thinking far enough ahead, it doesn't really matter, because by the time you release one thing, you're working on the next anyway, and you're just got your head down in your creative process. And that's how I really approach things. And I've got things in a pipeline that are coming up for like a year or two. So like it takes a lot of pressure off, I guess.
Was it? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take, right?
Michael
That's
Jordan.
Mm. No,
Thanks, Jordan.
thanks for the therapy for me personally, man. Appreciate
You can
it.
borrow my
Might be some
helmet
stuff
anytime you
out
like, mate.
there. Thank you. All right, great. So who are your guys' biggest influences within the creative space in general? And maybe some notable NFT artists, if you've got any in mind. Sekure, if you want to jump in.
Sure. Okay, so I got into graffiti because I loved the artwork by Scene. I got into customizing shoes and was mentored by an artist who's in the 100 called Sabotage. So he's like my big brother. We're still really good friends, and I can't wait to see what he produces for this campaign. From a digital art point of view, I'm very privileged to have a good friend, Justin Malla, who has done exceptionally well in this space. And if he ever listens to this, he'll kill me, but he's like the godfather of digital art. He's amazing. I steal that all the time because it was an article I read about him when I met him. So I remind him of that all the time. But yeah, look, I look up to graffiti artists a lot. And then I read comic books. So a lot of my favorite artists were comic book artists. And that's why everything I do is pretty much outlined in black, just because I read so many comic books, and it really helps sort of shape my style. But yeah, I think I'm lucky enough that a lot of those people are friends of mine now, and sort of mentored me and helped me get to where I am. So that'd be a couple.
Oh, excellent. Bianca?
I am super inspired by one particular artist, and if you don't know his name, you need to Google him ASAP. His name is James Jean, and he's just freaking fabulous. Like really whimsical, beautiful, detailed art, and he's worked with like some massive brands like Prada and Disney. So for me, my work's nothing like his, maybe in the fact that it's colorful, but that's about it. But I definitely see his standard of work as something to work towards, because everything he makes is just the utmost, most pristine standard it can possibly be. So yeah, he's a role model for me in the art scene, and he is making NFTs now, which is cool. A lot of artists are now. But in the NFT space specifically, one of my good friends, some of you guys may know her, Sarah. She goes by Wrath. She is like one of the biggest NFT artists in Australia at the moment, and she's just killing it. And for me, like her work's amazing. It's whimsical 3D art, and it's really, really cool. Yeah, I think that's me.
Cool. Demas?
This is a difficult question, because I don't think I have like I don't have like specific people kind of thing. Like it's just like I get inspired by, I don't know, just like day-to-day things, and like just random things that happen in life. People I meet through photography are all great inspirations, and I kind of just try to take like bits and pieces of everything through my work and how I create. But yeah, like I said earlier, I think in the NFT space, I think probably Beeple is probably the inspiration there, but I don't really, it's just probably a very generic answer.
No, man, it could be the birds outside, the breeze on the trees. It could be anything.
I'm just so glad I'm not the
answer.
only one. I'm glad I'm not the only one that has an answer the same as Demas. I'm so bad when it comes to like specific influencers and artists, and I think it's because I don't really like consume as much as I used to, because I'm just so busy making stuff. Like I've got too much to work on, whether it's like my day job or like my graphic art, and then the Lil Bubble stuff that I try to cram into the nights. And by the time it comes to sort of like consume anything, like I'm only really on Instagram to post something, and like I'll do a quick scroll of the feed. Like it's pretty depressing when you think about it. But I used to consume a lot and buy like, like all the design magazines and that type of thing. I guess like one notable visual artist is maybe Alex Pardee, if anyone's heard of.
Yeah.
Oh, I love
him. He
him.
does-
I have
Yeah.
all his books. Oh, I don't want to get up, but I have all his toys behind my computer screen.
really?
So
Yeah, sick. Yeah, I just love. I actually was introduced by him when he made a few album covers for like was it The Used and In Flames? I think he did a cover for.
Same. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I was like, who is this? Because it was so different for like a metal album with like really bright like illustrative stuff, and that sort of like got me onto him, and I started following him from there. But yeah, that's basically the only visual artist that I could name off the top of my head.
he's a super nice dude. I've been lucky enough to meet him a few times. Like I've got a good
really
story
cool.
for you one day off camera.
Yeah, I'm just looking at his stuff now. It's very cool. I mean, the one
Yeah.
Bianca passed on as well. Very dope.
Yeah, he's
cool.
amazing.
All right. So yeah, it's just obviously some awesome names there. And I'm sure yours will be having a bit of a Google later. So let's try and get through this one here. Yep. So what has been your favorite piece of artwork you have done to date? I don't know if that's a bit of a too broad of a question, as you know, each of them, I guess, are your babies in a sense. But yeah, is there any like notable ones you want to shout out?
Me personally, I don't have a favorite necessarily, but I am really, really proud of the project I did for the Binance NFT launch. So for me, like what I formulated was a series, and in my head, like they just look amazing together. It has a lot of meaning behind it. So I created a 7-piece series based off the chakras, and they all have like so much work. Like I learned how to animate in like 2 days so that I could do it. It's got like a lot of hidden symbols and meanings in it that I created personally to like imbue the buyer or the collector with like good fortune, because I'm really into like manifestation and astrology and all that type of shit. So yeah, for me, I'm just really proud of this project. Put a lot of work into it, and I can't wait to see it be out in the world.
Awesome.
No, great. Yeah, I've had the privilege to have a look at most of your guys' work, and it's mint. All right. Anyone else like to chime in on that one?
My work sucks, dude. I don't know. Let's say I'm pretty happy with the Binance and NFT stuff. Well, let's hype that while we're here, hey?
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Put a lot of work into that. Put a bit of work into that.
That was a very pro move by you and B. It was very good.
Yeah, I did a bit of animation as well for mine. Mine's a lot of it's 8-bit animation, so very old school video game style, which is really cool. I love making pixel art. I find it kind of like therapeutic sitting there drawing little dots on an iPad, like little pixel by pixel. It's sort of like, you know how adults do like the adult coloring books to like de-stress. Yeah, I find it like very much the same, like sitting there just like dunk, 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 like when you got a bit of a hectic life, it's good to chill out and do that for a while. Recommend.
Sick. All right, let's ask some questions about NFTs now. So what do you guys think of NFTs? Pretty broad
if
one
anyone
there.
had a bad idea, would we be here?
Yeah.
Okay, so like where do you see NFTs and like digital ownership of art going in the future?
I'm excited personally. So far, what I've seen in my few months in the NFT space is that artists are being able to call the power back and create for themselves again. I think a lot of artists, I'm not talking fine artists, I'm talking designers, people like Demas, people like Matt and myself, and potentially Lil Bubble as well. We're working for clients, and in that way, your creative energy gets stifled because the client doesn't want to be that risky or whatever. So the good thing about NFTs is you get a global audience, and there's a potential to sell really, really well, like for really, really huge amounts. My second NFT sold for 5K, and it was just an artwork I had made a year ago, and I hadn't put much thought into it. It was created as a piece of a project and never got used, and so it was just cool to be able to make money off something I had put time and effort into, and yeah, get it out in the world. And that's the benefit to me for NFTs over a gallery, because if you're in a gallery, you're only available to view to the people that are in that location. But with NFT, NFTs you're showing to a global audience. And yeah, I think that's basically it. I just find it really exciting.
We also don't have someone taking 60% of our
yeah,
fee.
exactly. And also you get to meet the buyer. Often the buyers will reach out to you and you'll get to chat. And not only that, but the fact that it's on the blockchain is you get to watch where your artwork flows, which is really cool. And you get a percentage of each time it sells, which is just like dope as.
Yeah, it kind of like flips the game on its head. Like as I guess like I could speak for like every artist ever, but like I was so used to, like, especially my personal projects, like you run that at a loss. Like you spend money, like you spend money to create that stuff. And like all of a sudden something comes along where you can actually get paid for it. It's just like my whole life just started to pay off like in the blink of an eye. So it's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess we've all been
lost, like, sorry, you go, Demas.
So I was just saying, like, we've all been creating for so long that like now that this NFT space comes out, like there's like a great chance for us to like, you know, use the creations that we've made in like the last 10, 15 years to like push it out there, get it out there to the world, and people can actually buy it, which is really awesome.
Yeah, no, crypto just continues to flip, like you said, flip everything on its head. And I think it is a good way to give back to the individual artist rather than going through, you know, a big corporation and them taking a big chunk. That's probably something that I would highlight there. So clearly you guys obviously see NFTs giving creators in Australia an opportunity by what you said. That was my next question. So we'll skip over that one. What would you guys like to see more of in the NFT art and crypto space?
I would like to see more variation in the type of art. Currently, I think it's dominated by 3D art, which is cool, but there's a niche for everything. There's a niche for photography, there's a niche for music, there's a niche for comedy, there's a niche for 2D art and sneaker customization. But I'm just waiting for the niches to grow a little bit bigger. And like, I'm sick of seeing the same like spaceman 3D art. Like, it can be obvious sometimes with 3D art that they've just purchased these elements and then put them together quickly to make a quick buck. Not always, obviously, but it's very common. So yeah, I just want to see more people like being true to their authentic style and just putting it out there, and for the buyers or the collectors to grow in their tastes.
Yeah, I mean, I echo a similar sentiment. Like, some artists that I've followed for what feels like more than half of my life have compromised their style for the space. And, you know, I get it because, you know, it is definitely a trend-based thing, but I guess what helps you build your career is not having to sign your name in the bottom corner and be recognized for it. I think that's always something I've tried to achieve with what I create. And I also look forward to like a wider expansion and variation in methodology, you know, product and technique. I think we're getting there. Like, you know, there's no denying there was elements within the art, you know, sense that has helped build this space to what it is today. And you don't want to walk away and deny that. Like, you know, you're always going to do graffiti with letters in it, for example. But I think, you know, the variation and as you said, like the growing of the niches, I think is, you know, what's great as you see artists. One thing I love about this is like some OGs that are really being like exploding in this space, like guys I've looked up to who never really had massive careers, all of a sudden having big moments, which they might have not expected to have so long down the track. And Bubble, like you, like some mates who are like digital designers or digital artists and have done corporate for long times, like all of a sudden have 15 years worth of like personal creative journey that they only ever put on DeviantArt, that all of a sudden is like an amazing portfolio that they can finally commercialize for themselves. I think, you know, seeing that come to life is pretty sick. So yeah, I think the variation and opportunity within, I think music's going to be massive in this space. I don't think we've even started to see what that could be yet. So
I agree.
Yeah, I definitely like to see where the opportunities go on the users end, like when it comes to like displaying and like how they actually use these tokens, like because obviously right now they're like, it's like very early days and they're sitting in a wallet, right? Like in MetaMask, or like you've got an iPhone or whatever, like that's cool. But I think like with things like VR and AR and like actual like metaverse, like a more immersive worlds online, like what you can actually do with these things and like how you can display them and even like interact with them and like show them off to the world. Like I'm just like heaps keen to see where that goes.
Yeah, I
maybe it's gonna
agree.
be like Ready Player One, you know that
Yeah.
movie?
Yeah, I do.
That's what I picture.
Cool. Thanks for that one, guys. All right. So I think we got about 10 minutes left. Although, as I said, I could hang around for another hour, but moving to the Q&A session, we have collected a bunch of questions from the audience. So let's scroll. So questions from, sorry, I'm just trying to locate it. There we go. So someone says here, I am skeptical about NFTs. Do you think something like a first tweet that was recently sold as an NFT will be worth millions in 50 years' time?
Yeah, I think I highlighted that. I'll take that. I'll be real quick too because we're short on time, but hell yeah, I think it will. I mean, it's a digital artifact. People go to museums to see notes that have been written on a napkin by someone famous. When you buy an NFT, you have to consider more than just the digital art. You have to consider the person, the time, the content, the potential for their career, their engagement level, how relevant they are. There's more than just the file that you're buying. You're buying the story, the journey, the person. So yeah, I think absolutely that's worthwhile. And that's something that will be archived and memorized forever. So yeah, I have no problem with that. I think an NFT can be anything as long as it's culturally relevant and perceived to have value, particularly in the eye of the person who wants to buy it. So yeah, I put that down because I was like, it was a hell yeah from me.
Yeah. So I think you might even touch on one that I pulled out just before this discussion, is that what does an NFT have that downloading, the JPEG or the GIF onto your phone or desktop not have? So there's always that flood around NFTs. It's like, well, why would I do that? I can just right click and save it, right? Like, so I don't know if anyone wants to touch on ownership of like NFTs, anything like that.
It's basically like it's been described as like a signature, right? Like when like a Canon or whoever invented the digital printer, like when that came out, like was the world sort of like, oh, I can just print out the Mona Lisa and hang it on my wall, like what's so special about the original? It's like, you know what I mean? Any original copy of anything has always held value, so it sort of passes through from there, in my opinion.
Yeah, and why would anyone buy a digital art print, right? That has a signature on it. It's the same thing, right? So
yeah, it's like we're transitioning from a period of like real world stuff, but like as we go on in time, it's going to be more digital world, more just in the ether type stuff. So I think people have that misconception mainly because of that difference. But as we move forward in time, it's gonna be more like just it's equal, like akin to collecting art in a physical form. That's just the new wave. 100%.
Oh, great. Well, get rid of those fudsters. So do you see an avenue for traditional artists that ain't being able to bridge the gap and produce NFTs successfully? And if so, do you have an example or suggestion?
I was the one that highlighted that one. Yes, I do. As I mentioned earlier, right now it's dominated by 3D art, but I think as the NFT community grows, more and more spotlight will be on traditional artists. I'm not a painter. I do paint, but by trade, I'm a digital artist mainly. I'm a 2D artist, and there's not as much of a community for 2D art in NFTs as there is for 3D art, but it's slowly growing. And likewise with painters and charcoal artists and sneaker customizers. So it's just patience, and it's staying authentic to your style and what you create, and eventually your community will come.
Oh, wicked. Thank you very much. So we'll move on to the next question. Can there be multiple owners of an NFT in case the NFT is expensive to own alone?
Yes, there can be multiple owners to an NFT. You can split the share to like 1,000 people, and everyone puts in $1 each and makes it $1,000. So 1,000 people can own a bit of that NFT. So that's really cool. And I think that's what makes NFT so different to other pieces of art as well, because then you can't really split the Mona Lisa. You can't really like rip that in half or anything. So yeah.
I mean, yeah, you could all have like an equal share in terms of investment with the Mona Lisa, but it's because of the blockchain. No one can run away, or everyone's got to be on that same sort of playing level.
Yeah.
Give me if I'm wrong. So what software do you use to create NFTs, and how would someone new to the NFT scene get started?
Yeah, I think I highlighted that one. It's kind of two questions, right? I'd answer it in two parts. Like, firstly, to anyone starting out, I would honestly just say use whatever you have access to and don't overcomplicate things. And ultimately, you just need to create a digital file, right? So like, you could start with Microsoft Paint if you wanted to, or you could take a photo of physical art on your phone and upload it. Like, it's done in 2 seconds. There's also things like Procreate on iPad that you can create digital art with these days. Personally, I use way too many programs to use I just like to overcomplicate things just because I'm an idiot. But I pretty much use every Adobe app in the Creative Suite, depending on what part of the workflow I'm up to, whether it's like creating, illustrating or whatnot. I use Premiere Pro for all my music. But yeah, like there's a whole array of software out there, and a lot of it's free these days as well. So I guess the main point that I'll drive home there is just to start now. Don't overcomplicate things, and don't think that it's too hard, or you have to learn too much to get started. You can learn it all on the way.
Yeah, which is what I did.
Yeah, great thing about the internet and the different softwares that are out there, like Fruity Loops free for making music, right?
Yeah.
You can get
Blender.
an app on your phone. Yeah, Blender's free. Like, it's just, as long as you've got an internet connection and a computer, you're pretty much good to go, at least at the beginning. And so we'll move on to the next one. So I'm quite new to NFTs. Would like to know how something anyone can create, so it seems, will have value in the long run.
I think I highlighted that one.
Yep.
It's just like anything. Things only have value because we as a society say it does. Like, money, currency is just a symbol. It's not anything until we all band together and say, oh yeah, this is valuable. And it's likewise with anything, likewise with cryptocurrency. It's likewise with fashion designers like Fendi or Louis Vuitton. The only reason there's such massive names is because we all decide that, yeah, this is a massive name. So I think with NFTs, it's the same. Of course, if you're someone as an artist who has a bit of a following or a reputation, your NFTs are more likely to have more value, especially with time. But it's something that grows with time, and I think time will tell. It's just self-evident, I think. Yeah. So we put our value. We believe here right now, we all believe in the value of it, and I think that's only going to grow with time as technology moves forward.
No, thank you for that one. So we'll move on to the next one again. How do you think NFTs will play a role in the development and ownership of new extended forms of media, such as AR and VR?
The Ready Player One thing again, hey? Like, yeah, honestly, like, I think, and like, people a lot smarter than me have spoken about it, and that's like where I've developed my vision on the whole thing of moving forward. But yeah, I really think we're just like at the very beginning stages of this VR thing. You only have to look at like what kids do today. Like, it's been said, like, they spend their days and their nights on Fortnite with their friends. It's like the new mall. It's where they hang out with their friends, and that's just normal to them. Like, they just jump on a computer and they go online. And VR and AR is just an extension of that, and the next step, I guess. And as things sort of progress, that's where we delve into ownership of assets and whatever else that sort of belongs in that realm.
Great, cool. Thank you very much. Do you think, I think this one was for Bubble as well, do you think NFTs will be potentially vulnerable to forgery via quantum cryptography?
I'm so happy you took this one, mate.
Quantum FUD. It's thrown around, like, that's thrown around by Bitcoin skeptics as well. Like, it, and like, basically the short answer is, like, and I'm not really technical enough to explain how and why, but the short answer is, like, if quantum computing gets powerful enough to crack Bitcoin or Ethereum or your NFTs, like, we're going to have much bigger problems on our hands. Like, that would mean online banking would be cracked, encryption would be cracked, like, it'd be absolute chaos. And like I said, yeah, I'm not technical enough to explain it better than that, but I believe, well, the optimist in me likes to believe that as quantum cryptography and computing becomes powerful enough to become a threat, so will our security and the protection against those vulnerabilities. So, like, they would hopefully be bolstered comparatively, and we should be fine.
Mm-hmm. She'll be right.
Not financial advice.
What is your, so sorry, let me scroll here again. So this one was for Bianca. What is your experience with NFTs so far? Have you created or have you bought any? And then there's a second part. Is there any point in an unknown artist creating their own NFT? Now, that last one was a bit sad.
I'll address, first of all, yes, I have sold. I've been in the market for like 6 months. I haven't bought any yet. I am aiming to sell 4 before I buy one. So I've got 1 more to sell, and then I'm going to give back to the community, which I think is important. And then secondly, is there any point in an unknown artist creating their own NFT? Yes. I think it's about expression and authenticity. So if you have something that you want to create and you're aching to share it with the world, why not? The mint fees on Binance are going to be marginal. So I feel like do it on Binance NFT. It won't cost you much at all. And yeah, then it's out to the world and people can see it. And it's all about luck. Like, if the right person with that taste for exactly what you've done comes along and they have wads of cash in their wallet, they can drop on that. So I would say don't hold back just because you think you're nobody special. Like, everybody has a voice, and if you want to create, you should.
Yeah, I saw someone pick up 500,000 Instagram followers recently in a day because someone famous just like retweeted something that they liked. The person was like, had sub 10,000 prior, woke up the next day with 500,000.
Beautiful.
No, awesome, guys. Thank you. Actually, that happens quite a lot in the music world, specifically with hip hop. I see. Is it just one retweet of a song?
Post Malone. He was a nobody, and then Pusha T posted his song. He woke up. He was living in his freaking car, and he woke up one morning, and everyone knew who he was. He's like, "What the heck?" Like, it happens.
Yeah. No, I've seen like Kanye do that for people. Mathew do that for people. So yeah, just put the stuff out there, right? Just put it out, as you guys were saying earlier when I was asking through my therapy session. So where do you see the future of NFTs heading as a medium? Just staying within the realms of art, or is there other avenues ahead? Mathew?
Yeah, I think that's me. I'll be real quick because we're short on time. Obviously, like, any kind of legal documentation, I think has a no-brainer like application to this space, music, art. I think there's so many things you can do with blockchain as a verification tool. So I think, this is just the beginning for so many other things. Contracts, for example, I think have a huge opportunity. I mean, it's not sexy to say contracts and legal documentation, but it's a no-brainer application for me. I think music is only just starting. Film and, script transactions. Like, if you know anything about the way that like film scripts or scores and everything are sold, I think there's a massive opportunity here. So whether or not it's made public, I think it's a great tool to transact IP and create, proof of ownership. So regardless of what it is, I think there's massive application in the wider market.
Great, thank you for that one. And we'll finish up the questions from the viewers with Demas here. So, because the item is digital, can the author sell multiple copies of the same artwork?
So I've read about this, and technically, yes, you can sell this multiple copies of the same artwork. But I think that if you do that, it kind of what's the opposite of legitimize that? Like, it makes you look bad as an artist. So you don't want to do that. You want to just keep it one copy and don't mint something twice.
Unless you're doing like an edition. So you do like 5. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, unless it's an edition of something. But it makes the artist look really bad if you like post one artwork on many different platforms and you have different prices, just like it makes it so confusing. So
Yeah.
I recommend if you're going to mint an NFT, just do one.
Jeez. People are on Twitter. Everything catches up to you pretty quick these days.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, well, like you, regardless, there is still, multiple options there for people to do what they want. But I can see how releasing too many of something sort of takes away from the scarcity, right? So we've got coins with billions and billions and billions in coins, and they no longer become scarce. So that's sort of the point. And so with art, that's scarce as well. When you've got someone who's quite influential and a creator in the space, and they create something, it makes sense to sort of keep that low without diluting it. All right, so anyway, sorry, I digress. All right, so I think that just about does it for the questions tonight, guys. We're pushing our luck with the time here, so thanks for hanging around. Can you guys just please quickly know where it's best for viewers to get you at? Just jump in, whether that's your Twitters, Instagrams, whatever's. Do the shill.
I'll go first.
Go big.
First, Bianca,
Okay.
yeah, sure.
Instagram, Bianca Beers. Twitter, by Bianca Beers.
Boom.
Over to you, Matt.
Yeah, just Sekure D, and it's secure with a K, because when I started doing graffiti, I thought it was cool, and I couldn't register the word secure as a trademark without the letter variation. So Sekure D. I'll tell you the story about how I got the name another day.
Easy.
It's the same on everything. That wasn't clear. It's like everything. If you just Google Sekure D, it'll come up with everything.
For me, it's just at Demas on Instagram and TikTok, and then at Demas Rusli on Twitter and YouTube.
I am the Crypto Bubble on every platform. Otherwise, just type Lil Bubble into the search and you should find something.
Easy. And I've just been told we'll drop everyone's handle in the video description as well, so you can click through. All right, so we're going to smash this part out here. It's the announcement time. So before we wrap up for tonight, it's time to announce the winners for the giveaway. Today's winners will receive Binance swag, it says here. I don't know if you guys are watching the other masterclasses when we do giveaways. There's this ongoing theme, right, where Vicky chooses the names and she picks hard names for me to pronounce. So just give me a second, right? So winner 1 is Yusri Cardo. That's pretty good. Winner 2, Damien Demestre. Winner 3 is Diane Van Skew. So if you want to win a giveaway, just have a slightly hard name for me. Now, it's probably easy for everyone else, but just anyway. Winners will only be contacted by official Binance Australia channels only. So don't entertain anything that hasn't come from an email from us or an official channel that's verified. So again, please make sure to follow our socials as well and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more masterclasses and discussions in the future. Binance Australia, just type it in, you'll find it. So to conclude, I just want to thank you guys so much for spending an hour of your time with us this afternoon, specifically from me and the team. It's been so awesome sort of collaborating these last couple of weeks and trying to get you guys on board to this thing. So really thank you. Lil Bubble, Sekure, Bianca, Mathew, Demas, so much. It's been great to get to know you guys.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Having us.
No worries, welcome. All right, have a lovely night, everyone. Take care.
See ya.
You too. Peace.
Bye.